Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this week we're making all-purpose tomato stew. You can enjoy this with anything. You can put this on anything: rice, panku, wache, even on your failing relationships. So let's get right into it. This is one of 3 ways that I make my tomato stew. So over here I'm pouring some hot water over the tomatoes. I'll leave this on for about 2 minutes to 3 minutes until the skin of the tomato peels off. Then I will remove the seeds from it, then chop them finely. I use this method when I don't want the seeds of the tomatoes in my stew, the seeds and the skin of the tomatoes in my stew. And it's actually my mom who taught me. This is how my mommy actually makes a stew. Okay, I use this method to help cook the tomato faster, in the sense that it fries the tomatoes faster than if I were to blend it. And I also do this if I have a lot of time to kill my hands, because it takes a while to pour the water over the tomatoes and now come and remove the seeds and chop everything up. So if you haven't tried this method before, then I highly recommend it. Who knows, you might end up loving it and actually sticking with it. Here's everything I use for the stew. Please check the description bar for the list of ingredients. So I begin with the meat. I add the spice blend, beef seasoning, and then some water. I didn't add salt, so I was really generous with the beef seasoning because it contains salt. I also usually don't add a lot of water, but I decided to add more this time around because I wanted the stock to be much for my stew. I'll leave this to cook for about 20 minutes, then I'll proceed to frying it. Okay, so it's already here. If you like your meats on the drier side, then you can leave it in to fry for longer. But then for me, I still like a bit of juice in my meat. So when it browns up a bit, I just take them out of the oil. Okay, so let's start the stew. I use the same oil that I use for frying the meat for the stew. So I pour that in a saucepan and add my tomato paste. Now I'm going to fry the hell out of this tomato paste. So I timed it. I did about 10 minutes. We do that just to remove the tanginess from the tomato paste, okay, and then the sourness from it. Then after that's fried, I add my blended mix of peppers, garlic, and then onions. I'm going to fry this for another 5 minutes. Then add the next ingredient. I add some bay leaves and shrimp seasoning tablets next. Next thing I add is the chopped tomatoes and then the stock from the meat that I made. I'll just give this a good stir, then cover it halfway and leave it to boil for a while. I also add some baking soda to cut out any tanginess or sourness in the tomato, the fresh tomatoes. You can use canway or saltpeter. I add my rosemary leaves at this point. One thing you need to know about this stew is that it makes a huge mess. It spatters a lot. So please be careful when you're making it. And one thing you can't do without to is stirring. You constantly need to stir, that way your stew doesn't burn. Okay, at this point I added the rest of the spices to it, and then I lower the flame and leave it to finish cooking. Most of the water has evaporated at this point. There's still a lot in there though, so you just constantly stir like you've been doing. And although it makes a huge mess and spatters a lot, it's one sure way for you to know that your stew is not ready, because if it still spatters, it means there's a lot of water in the stew that hasn't fried yet. Okay, one of the last ingredients I add is a fried beef. Okay, so if you're one who's worried about the quantity of oil used, please don't be. It's actually needed for the frying of the tomatoes. Okay, you can always scoop it off when it's done. That's what I do. I begin with a lot of oil, and then when it's done, I take everything off of it. So you taste your stew and adjust the seasoning if need be. This is towards the end of the stew. There's still a bit of water in there, so we're still frying it as we go. If you're in Ghana, then you know that tomatoes are in season at the moment, so you can actually do large quantities of this and store in the freezer so that you use them as and when you need. This is actually even a good base for jollof and then anything else you want to use it for. We have come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for sticking by. God bless you. I hope you do give this a try, and let me know how it goes in the comments. Thank you so much. Bye.